We're live on a Saturday evening, and I'm putting on the radio broadcast. I wanted to hear a thumbnail of what the 49ers KNBR broadcast would sound like. And immediately I get this schmuck, and he is a total schmuck. You can quote me. A guy by the name of Bob Fitzgerald, who somehow continues to get assignments even when his various bosses know the degree of universal scorn that he, Bob Fitzgerald, faces, not just in the Bay Area, but nationally. Bob Fitzgerald is a total schmuck. It's very, very well earned. And I'm going to explain to you and go into detail because, as I have said here, nothing irritates me, nothing makes me more angrier than leveling attacks against people and not having the willingness to be public about it as opposed to being private about it and using various tactics to express your scorn. I don't work that way. I'm public, I'm a critic, and this is a little bit different, though, what I'm about to say with regards to one Bob Fitzgerald. Now, those of you that don't know who he is, let me just give you the details and a little background on Bob Fitzgerald. Bob Fitzgerald is the play-by-play broadcaster for the Warriors, who I have explained to you why he has that job. And it's really only one reason. It's not because he's good. It's not because he's earned it. It's because they felt sorry for him because of a personal tragedy that he suffered. We're not going to talk about that because, of course, we all, in every sense of the word, don't heap any kind of bad feelings on that situation because that would be bad karma. So we're going to leave that out of it. And I'm going to get to the many reasons why Bob Fitzgerald is universally detested, but somehow continues to keep broadcasting because his bosses don't really get it. They don't understand the scorn, the hatred that this guy has established with himself. But more background. So Fitzgerald came to the Bay Area in the early 90s. He was a talk show host at KNBR, another organization that clearly has no concept on the vibe in the Bay Area with regards to one Bob Fitzgerald, how much of a prick he is. Now, I used a very harsh word there, a prick, for good reason. I have said here many a times that I don't get personal, that my level of attacks are based upon professionalism and professional opinion, not personal. On the other hand, this is an exception. Why is that? Because Bob Fitzgerald is a very, very menacing little schmuck, a putz, and there are many around the Bay Area sports media who feel the same way, but they are forbidden to say because they're afraid and because they have families to feed, I guess, and because they don't have the balls to say what I have said in the past and what I will continue to say. Shared by many people and shared and who have sentiments that are kind of like mine, maybe not as vitriolic as mine, but in that same wavelength. Fitzgerald, first off, began doing the Warriors around 1994 when he went behind the back of one great Papa to get that job and lied and maneuvered his way into the broadcast position as the chief Warriors broadcaster. Now, he did radio mostly television and mostly cable. And he has continued to do the Warriors cable broadcasts. Let me add this to the mix because this is important. Fitzgerald and his partner, I'm not going to get into that because this is not the point of Scorn. But Fitzgerald has once again he's been ruled as one of the worst part of the worst broadcast team in the NBA. And that's ongoing. They have these polls, that they ask fans who's the worst. And Warrior fans, about 90%, cannot stand Bob Fitzgerald. Oh, look, does he know the game of basketball? Yeah. Does he know football? Yeah. But the manner in which he gets his jobs, the way in which he presents himself, which is completely phony, which is completely nothing like he comes across. That's one of the reasons why he's a schmuck. That's one of the reasons why people can't stand Bob Fitzgerald. And people get really angry when they have to hear Bob Fitzgerald because they know that he's a schmuck. They know that he's a glad bagger or a glad handler, fill in whatever you want to use. That he's a schmuck, that he kisses ass, that he works not within the boundaries, but he goes outside the boundaries to secure jobs, to kiss various ass so that he can go on the air and be the asshole that he is. Okay, I'm getting a little personal again because the guy is a complete and utter non-professional. I mentioned the story about Papa, how he literally worked the management, the ownership of the Warriors years ago to get Greg Papa fired, and so he himself could get on the broadcast. That maneuver continues to be the case this day and age. How he is able to continue his broadcast duties as the Warriors' chief cable broadcaster is beyond me. But oh, wait a minute. Joe Lacob is the principal owner of the Warriors. And Joe Lacob somehow, some way, loves Bob Fitzgerald because he's sympathetic to Bob Fitzgerald, who suffered a personal tragedy about 5 or 6 years ago, maybe a decade ago. So he continues to employ him, despite the fact that Bob Fitzgerald is detested by a vast majority. I'm talking 80, 90, 95% of the Warriors fan base cannot stand Bob Fitzgerald. And somehow Bob Fitzgerald has maneuvered his way onto the non-basketball arena into the pro football broadcast. He does some games for various broadcast entities. He broadcasts NFL football. He's worked in Olympics. This is where it makes perfect sense as to why Bob Fitzgerald, ass kisser supreme, detested by many, including, by the way, a lot of media people in the Bay Area. Because Bob Fitzgerald is the ultimate corporate dream when it comes to positions like this. He can snitch, which he does. He will not bother anybody. He will be professional. There's nothing wrong with being professional. It's the manner, it's the quiet, the clandestine way in which he secures jobs, mostly at his own benefit. And you might say, well, he is working to some degree to secure his own situation. What's wrong with that, Rich? Oh, there's plenty wrong because look, there's a protocol, folks. There's protocol. You can work your way up and be considered really, really good at what you do and beloved by fans. And not even if you're not beloved by fans, if you're really good and you're solid and you have some chops and you have some, shall we say, professionalism, then you're going to do okay, and you should do okay, and nobody would be aghast or against you. Most people do not like Bob Fitzgerald. I'm giving you inside stories about how he operates. He's a little guy. Derisively, some have called him, they've referred to him as Rudy. And you remember Rudy? Rudy was a character that they made a movie about. He was this little guy who went to Notre Dame. Oh, by the way, Bob Fitzgerald is a Notre Dame alum. And when he was on his stupid little talk show that drew no ratings whatsoever, but somehow Fitzgerald, who was hated then as much as he's hated now, was able to do his show. Why? Because they liked the fact that he was, again, a corporate ass kisser, and that he would be basically insecure and try to act as if he was not insecure, even though we know he is. And it would be something on the air totally not indicative of what he really is and was and is off the air. An absolute nose kisser, ass kisser, and every all kisser of executives who love him, who have been conned by Fitzgerald, and therefore been put in a position to where he broadcasts various NBA games, Warriors, the 49ers, whoever does broadcast work for the 49ers, and I think I know who it is, knows about Fitzgerald. Yet he is able to continue to broadcast, even though most fans turn the volume down when they're watching or listening because they can't stand Bob Fitzgerald, a schmuck. He is hated. Folks, I can't say it enough. He is detested. He is a glad bagger, an out and out hypocrite. Again, nothing like he comes across on the air. And I've got a problem with that. And I can call him out. And by the way, if Bob Fitzgerald were to come across me publicly, and we every now and then have butted heads to some degree, not like this, it's been a while, I would say to his face what I am telling you now. Mr. Fitzgerald, with all due respect, wait a minute, check that. There's no respect. There's no due respect, nor I don't want it to be perceived as I give any respect whatsoever to this total schmuck. Bob, Fitz, Rudy. Rudy was about that movie I just referred to. This little guy. And Bob Fitzgerald is a little guy, sort of a Napoleonic kind of a figure. I would say, Bob, people hate you. You know that. People can't stand you. You have gotten people fired. You worked your way to a position where you worked behind the scenes with executives, with owners who somehow buy your story, put you on the air. Meanwhile, you've trampled on, you've literally lied about various people in the sports media, not just in the Bay Area, nationally too. And for some reason, these executives, owners have bought your pound of bullshit and have put you on the air and continue to put you on the air, even though the vast majority, and I'm not talking like 50, 60%, as I said earlier, 80, 90%, maybe even more, cannot stand you and think you're a fucking asshole. I'll call you a schmuck. It's a little more polite. They can't stand you. They hate you. They detest you. Your work on the air is detested also. There are various people in Bay Area media who are not part of the majority there, who for some reason kiss your ass. Like, oddly enough, Gary Radnich kisses the ass of Bob Fitzgerald. Used to love him and talk about him when he was on the air before he got fired at KNBR. There's a few other people that are not significant enough. Bob Fitzgerald gets the worst heat mail, Bob Fitzgerald, as I just mentioned, is universally scorned amongst Warriors fans because they hate him. They can't stand him. He gets booed. Remember those parades they had? Well, before they showed you the various ceremonies when the cars and all the props went down Broadway, went down Market Street, they cut away. Why? Because they didn't want to air the booing, the hissing that Warrior fans showed for one Bob Schmuck Fitzgerald. I know how this guy operates. He has no pedigree. He has no professionalism. He works, as I said, folks, very, very hard to fuck with people and to hurt people and to somehow, some way get his torso, Fitzy, Rudy, into the booth and work various NBA games, Warriors, and preseason games for the 49ers. Now, he will not work. This, I have it on good authority. He will not work 49ers games on the radio to temporarily replace Greg Proppa. I'm told that that is not on the table. But he is doing the preseason game on television. For whatever reason, they couldn't find anybody. Maybe they had a hard time. And he's done the broadcasts in the past where he universally is scorned by also, yes, 49ers fans. Thankfully, we only have to, I'm not a 49ers fan, I'm an observer. Thankfully, we only have to listen to this guy if we don't turn the volume down, which 99.99% of us do. We only have to listen to this diarrhea mouth for 2, perhaps 4 preseason games. I think it's actually 3 games now, so I'll stand corrected. Thank God. Because the less you hear of Fitzgerald, makes your life a lot brighter. You tend to be more eager and more, shall we say, friendlier. When you listen to Fitzgerald, that's via radio or watch him on television, you tend to basically want to kill yourself. I'm being a little facetious. But the fact of the matter is, it is absolutely well earned. He is a schmuck, a putz, an ass kisser, a complete and utter fucking piece of crap. It's all there. You cannot repeat it enough. He continues to work, and most people I know, they go like this when they hear Fitzgerald. Thank God when the Warriors have attained their status of advancing in the playoffs, becoming NBA champions, most of the telecasts have gone away from the Warriors' broadcast control. They're controlled by the NBA and its TV people. This past year, they're going to be moving, or this current year, they're going to be moving to NBC. But TBS or TNT and ABC control the playoff broadcasts up until the finals. No Bobby Fitz, thank God. No Rudy, hallelujah. No ass kisser. We all get high and happy, and we are profoundly non-depressed because we don't have to listen to the torture that is Bobby Fitzgerald, little man and all, with huge ego and one of the worst broadcasters ever. And even on that, if you took away all the scorn about the way he works personally, what kind of person he is personally, as a just objective analysis, he's average. He doesn't criticize because he knows the Warriors pay his freight. By the way, about those Warriors, the players, except one key player, Over the years, Warriors players detested, despised Bobby Fitzgerald, even though the owner and one Steph Curry felt sympathetic and kept him on the payroll, even though fans can't stand him. So even the players know what a person, what a schmuck Bobby Fitz is, a.k.a. Rudy. Well-deserved scorn. He is a total, quote me, a total abomination. I'm Rich Lieberman, and you're not.